Spoiler alert, you never really arrive. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how, spoiler alert, you never really arrive. Now, we all have a destination in mind. We all have goals that we are looking to achieve. I've got this cool little Lamborghini on my desk. If you're watching the video on YouTube, that you can see, the doors actually open on this little model car. Pretty cool. Doors go up. So I can constantly just visualize and see that's one of those toys that I think that I'd like to have eventually one day, for some period of time, to say that I had it and to say that I was able to drive that and have fun and all those different types of things. But no matter what it is that you are doing or where it is that you are, you never really fully arrive, because even when, not even if, even whenever I do get a car like this Lamborghini model that I'm showing on the video, there's going to be other things that I want. There's going to be other goals to achieve. And the goalpost is actually going to most likely move even further along. There may be a newer car that I want. There may be another toy that I want. There may be another business idea that I'd like to work on, that I'd like to pursue. And understanding this has been very helpful for me. And I just want to make sure that you understand this as well, that there should never really be a point, if you are a driven and highly motivated individual, where you feel like you've arrived and that you've made it. Like, that is not really how it goes, and that's not the goal. I have heard so many stats of when people retire and they have no sense of purpose, they just die soon after. The stats are pretty crazy. And you even hear about these stories of, like, someone's spouse dies. There's like two 80-year-olds, one person dies and the other person dies like a month later, because literally their meaning, their sense of purpose, their identity is destroyed. They have no reason to live. They don't have that willpower anymore. They lose their will to live because there's nothing really pushing them, and they don't have something that they are chasing. And so having something worth chasing, there's actually a guy, I remember I had him on my show, and he's got a podcast, Chase Maher, maybe. I think his podcast was called, I'm not sure if it still is, Life Worth Chasing. And that was such a cool name because it really dives into what I'm talking about here. You never really arrive. There's always going to be something else that you are chasing, and you want to live a life worth chasing, a life worth living. I know some of my friends, there's a guy who's on my Clubhouse call, and he's a good friend of mine, and he said that he wants to just grind it out, build his business up, make all his money, and retire by the time he's 45 or something like that. And personally, I don't want to have to retire. I guess the goal is to be in a place where you don't have to work. You choose to work because you want to and you like what you do. You don't actually have to work. Those are the two different differentiations. It would really suck if you need to work in order to earn an income to live life and to pay bills and have a basic existence with a roof over your head and food on the table. That's definitely something that I don't want to do forever, is have to work. The other option, the other side of that, is that financial freedom piece, that life worth chasing, where you're living a cool life. You choose to work because you love what you do. You want to work because you want to grow your business and opportunities for your team and for your family and generations. If you were to pass on that wealth, or, family business, pass that down, for example, that's something totally different, where you don't necessarily have to work, but again, you want to work. You love what you do. That's where I see myself going. And I hope that's where you see yourself going too, because again, the goal should not be to just stop and quit and go live on a beach, swing in a hammock, and play golf every single day. Honestly, that sounds boring. I'm not a fan of golf. Maybe if I took lessons, I'd appreciate it more, but I couldn't see myself golfing more than doing putt-putt once every 2 years, probably. And swinging in a hammock is cool, maybe for a quick nap, but I would quickly get bored after that too. I'd have to do something new. And I'm sure you can relate. Imagine being on a beach, swinging in a hammock for 2 weeks. You'd probably drive yourself crazy by just being bored out of your mind, not knowing what to do, having read 5 books or something and gone to all the beach clubs and parties. Like, that would get old after a certain amount of time, and you'd want to pursue something new, pursue something that challenges you. And I've heard people talk about the flow state before. I've read that book, Flow, by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, or however you pronounce his name. And it talks about that perfect zone between challenging yourself but not being too challenged where you're just overwhelmed, and also not being in that place where you're not challenged enough. The example, I follow a guy named Miles Beckler. Shout out to Miles. I think I've shouted him out before. I like his podcast, his content. He's got his head on straight. He's got a really solid YouTube channel on internet marketing and entrepreneurship. But Miles talks about the example of Tetris. Imagine playing Tetris on level 1 forever. You would get bored very quickly because if you play Tetris, those little blocks fall so slowly that it's incredibly easy and you get bored quickly because it's too easy. It's not enough of a challenge. Alternatively, imagine playing on level 50 or whatever levels where it starts the blocks start to fall so fast that your brain can't even comprehend what's going on, and you lose in 1 second every single time. That most likely would also be the other extreme where you'd get frustrated and burnt out very quickly because there was no way you could win it. You just weren't at that level. You didn't have the skills and the foundation at those easier levels, 1 through 10, to have gotten to level 50, right? So there has to be that optimal level of stress. This was something that I got away from for a while. Maybe you can relate, where I've automated and delegated so many things in my life. And I was such a student of the 4-hour work week and those types of teachings that I got away from really pushing myself and challenging myself. And I can't even really remember random little facts because I put it into systems and I delegate so quickly that I set it and I forget it. I type it in Asana, I assign it to a VA, and boom, I forget about it 2 seconds later because I know someone else is going to be doing it. That's cool to an extent, but I'm not facing an optimal level of stress. I've made life so easy in some aspects that I forgot what it's like to push myself, to truly work hard, to maybe use my brain more than I like. I don't like to think too much. And I know, my fiance will joke about it that I forget stuff easily because I guess I'm just firing so quickly, thinking about so many things. At least that's my thought, or my excuse that I'm using right now is I like to think that I have so many open loops in my mind and so many things that I'm doing, multitasking at a time, delegating this, delegating that deal's closing, this wire's coming for the deal that closed 2 days ago or whatever, right? Those types of things are going on in my mind, or in my mind all at once, where my memory is not super great about random little things like that we talked about or things that we mentioned 2 days ago, because I just have so many open loops all the time and I'm running at 120 miles per hour in my mind constantly. Where I'm going with this is that I need to learn how to slow things down in order to speed things up, but also to think on higher level problems that involve a little more thinking, sitting there, ruminating, brainstorming, going deep, writing 5 pages on a single problem that I'm looking to solve, instead of doing 15 back-to-back calls and they're all kind of surface level. And I take a little bit of notes, but really ultimately, how much did I get done? And am I going to remember those conversations, the action items, etc., 1 or 2 weeks from now? That's what I've got to improve on. So anyway, the point of this episode, the point of this video here for you today is that you never really arrive. And if you understand that, you can craft your life in a way where you are focusing on problems that you enjoy. You're making sure to create a business and a lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from, where you love what you do. And every single day you show up because you want to, because you're inspired to, because it is, again, what lights you up and not something that you feel that you have to do to earn this income, to keep the lights on and put food on the table, because that is a very different existence than working because you choose to. When the 10-hour day goes by and you didn't even feel it, it felt like 1 hour. I want that. I don't want that second option of having to count the hours and be like, oh my gosh, I've got 5 more hours of this task to do and it's only been 1 hour. Like, what's going on? Those are very different dynamics. I'm sure you've felt that if you've worked in a corporate job or in a job that you weren't a fan of, where someone was telling you what to do and you were doing menial tasks that you were not interested in. That sucks for sure. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I prefer to focus on the projects that I love. I can make podcasts. I can talk to people. I can interview people on my show. I can be a guest on other podcasts. That does not feel like work to me. In fact, that's what I did on my birthday. I had several meetings and calls. I was a guest on someone's podcast. I hung out with a new CEO in real estate friend that I had made recently. We spent about 2 hours together on my birthday. He's like, what are you doing here on your birthday? I'm like, dude, this is the stuff that I would do on my birthday anyway. I want to learn. I want to connect. I want to talk about business. I want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about big ideas. And what am I going to take the day off and just eat cake all day? Like, that's not something that is in my DNA and in my routine at all. And so I don't disrupt my daily routines for anything, not even my birthday, not for holidays or anything like that. But anyway, this isn't even about me. This is about, again, you and making sure you're tuning into what you love. How do you do more of that? How do you get paid to do that? And how do you make that a career? So that's it for this episode. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below if you're on YouTube, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. And if you have not left a review, it would mean a lot if you made sure to go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I guess they also let you leave reviews now too. That would be super helpful. And lastly, if you have not gotten my free complete life tracker, really cool file to track all your goals, your habits, how many pages you read every single day, your top priorities for your business, completely free, cool tool that I made in Excel for you. chrisbello.com/free. Just drop your name in there, click confirm, and then make sure to check your email to confirm the email that's sent to you, and that will be sent to you immediately. So thanks again for your time. I hope all is well on your side, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.